Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of the MedEd Well podcast. I'm so thankful that you're here, that you're joining me, and that you're really engaging with your own wellness by showing up, for taking the time to be here right now. I'm so thankful for all who are listening, for sharing these episodes, and I just can't wait to see how you continue to take steps forward and how I do that as well. Today, we're talking about how thoughts become our beliefs. And by changing your thoughts, you can actually change your life. So, thoughts are really just kind of sentences in our minds, the things that we tell ourselves, that we think, and over, as you think them, we consider them to be true. And they become beliefs. Whether we say that's what we want, but as those things keep coming up again and again and again, that's kind of the things that we internalize. And while you may think that this is just talking about religion or spirituality, but actually it applies to all of life. I'll give you a few examples. In the 90s, I grew up and I thought that the Chicago Bulls were the best basketball team. I kept thinking that over and over, and I really believed it. Another thought that I and maybe you thought on a recurrent basis is that I can become a doctor. And as I kept leaning into that, as I kept going through medical school, through even undergrad, thinking, I want to be a doctor. And I began to believe it. So in my life coach training, part of the life coach school for Castillo, I learned a model about how our thoughts are separate from our circumstances, things that are just kind of there, whether it's medical school or something else that's just a neutral fact that anyone could agree on. It just is. Talked about how charting is just a circumstance. We think that it stresses us out or makes us mad, or my schedule. These are not things that I have it all figured out, but there's circumstances, thoughts about these circumstances, feelings that those thoughts generate, and then ultimately what we do about it and how that creates a result for us. Ultimately, these thoughts end up getting reinforced as we go through this model and become our beliefs. So if you want to change your thoughts, ultimately that has the opportunity to change your life. It's an opportunity to take hold of these thoughts because these thoughts really matter. And beliefs shape how you show up and experience the world. Some would call it worldview, how you approach things. So I'm going to talk about 3 areas that you can change your thoughts to change your experience in life. First, we'll talk about changing your thoughts about yourself. So sometimes we'll say to ourselves, at least I do, that I can't do this or I never could. One example recently that I've run up against is talking about how, oh, I'm not handy. Or that was something that my wife and I were saying to ourselves because we lived in an apartment for a long time and didn't have the opportunity to do as many this type of maintenance or home improvement projects. But now as homeowners, there's opportunities to grow, and I don't hold that thought anymore because I'm creating evidence that I'm growing. And I've had the opportunity to work on some things. I changed an outlet. I've put in some lights, and it's been cool to see how letting go of the thought that I can't to maybe I can learn. It's just shifted things for me in a way that's allowed me to grow and to have a different experience. Another example, previously I thought I could I could never finish my charting at work. I've told stories before about how I had a colleague when I first started, and he would say, "Yeah, I pretty much finished all my work, and I go home." I thought, "Well, that's weird." I didn't resonate with that at all because I didn't even think it was possible for me. Rather, now I'm able to say I've been learning, I've been growing, I I can figure out how to get more of my stuff, my charting done in the room. It's changed how I show up and how I experience being a physician, about caring for patients, getting my work done, and having time for what matters most to me. It's really changed things for me. Some of these thoughts become beliefs that really hold us back. You might call them limiting beliefs. And they hold us back from moving forward because of these stories that we tell ourselves, not realizing that there's a lot of potential there that maybe we just haven't really tapped into. So, in changing our thoughts to change our life and our experience with things, the second area is changing our thoughts about the world and how it works. It may be looking at thoughts and beliefs around scarcity versus abundance, whether that's in money and time, and how maybe if I think that I don't have enough time, I want to hold on to it for myself. I'm more selfish and don't want to help others or add on that extra patient. It may be that it's important to have those boundaries. I've had that recently where sometimes I'm able to accommodate a patient who comes late and sometimes I'm not. And that's okay. Each of us has to engage with these opportunities to think, how do I want this to go? But examining why you're making those decisions, those thoughts and stories that you're telling yourself, it's really important to be able to say, I am showing up how I want to. I'm being generous in the areas that really matter to me. And as a result, then I can live in the world in a way that truly reflects my own values. Maybe it's thoughts about how there's lack of opportunities and having some imposter syndrome, saying, I can't do this. I am not worthy of this role. And certainly there's bias and discrimination. And just like I talk about grief, that there are experiences that others have that I can't resonate with, that have not been my experience. I just want to acknowledge that this is a real thing, that there have been systemic inequities, that there still are, that there's challenges that others are experiencing. And the biggest thing is just acknowledging that this shouldn't be this way in a variety of areas, and having that thought of, I want to be an advocate for change in whatever area. It can be an opportunity to say, I want to be a part of that change. I want to grow in how I help my patients and how I show up for myself and how I make an impact in this world. We each have our own unique giftings, our own unique talents and passions. I even look around my clinic and I see that each of us have different interests and different ways that we advocate for children. And it's great. So, first, you got to change your thoughts about yourself so that you can grow. Secondly, about the world and how it works. And then thirdly, about medicine and how you show up as a physician or other medical professional. It's sometimes easy to think, oh, there's all these challenges. Maybe it's a bad time to be a doctor. It's a bad time to be in healthcare. I don't know if I could recommend this to my children or other kids, young people growing up and saying, maybe I want to be a doctor. But really, there are things that each of us can do. Those are just thoughts that we're having. And rather than, I can't change this, there's no hope, this medical record system is so challenging, I can't deal with it, I can't escape this treadmill of work and charting, maybe holding on to some different thoughts could allow you to move forward and explore how could this be possible? How could this be true? Now, before I go to some of those intentional thoughts, those things that might help you grow and move forward, I do want to acknowledge that there are systemic challenges with medicine, that there are things that need to be changed, both about the practice of medicine, the way charting is done, the way we design and continue to improve charting. I'll be talking about some of those in an upcoming webinar and at a local conference for other pediatricians and medical professionals. Just talking about how we can finish charting faster to get home sooner for what matters most to us by making some of these changes. So there's a system component, but right now I'm talking about the individual component of how changing your thoughts will impact your experience in medicine. So a few of those areas might include saying, I can do this. I am a good doctor. I can finish my charting, maybe even in the room. I can be a part of making some of these systemic changes. And I can find wellness even in medicine. Thinking these thoughts long enough and acting from the feelings that you experience thinking thoughts like these, your life's going to change. My experience as a physician today is so much different than it was 1 year out of residency. Even less than a year out of residency because I was burned out. I was thinking that I couldn't keep going like this. I couldn't keep pushing and pushing and pushing and bringing my charts home. It was miserable. So I had to make some of these changes in my thoughts. I just didn't realize that it was changing my thinking that would help me in changing my experience. So as we wrap up, I want you to take a moment. I want you to take a moment and think about what is holding you back. What is a limiting belief that is keeping you from growing? What thought do you need to change about yourself, about the world, or about medicine to really change your life? One thought that's come up for me and that I've been processing through is that I can't help you. I can't help my people, my colleagues, other physicians, and medical professionals unless I have a podcast episode every week. And I realized that getting some coaching and processing through that's actually not true. I really want to be authentic in how I show up for you and for others around me, for my family, for my colleagues. And I realized that I want to try and go to having a podcast with seasons. I'm going to have different themes. The first one's going to be about charting, and I'll have one with guest episodes and other themes. But I'm going to have probably 8 to 12 episodes. The charting one, I think I'll drop all at once, but it's an opportunity to say, I want to reimagine how this can work to serve you and to work for me, for my wellness, because I can't pour out and help you if it's this process, this business is not working for me and for my family, for my big why. And so I just wanted to let you know that that's how I'm going to work this going forward. I'll have a little break here while I focus on how do I show up and serve, and how do I help in terms of providing this coaching, providing the one-on-one, providing group coaching on how to finish your charting faster and to align your life, your priorities, and your charting in a way that really supports you in medicine. So this will be better for my wellness and better for me to be able to show up and provide value for you as I dive into coaching and I dive into figuring out how I can coalesce these themes and create seasons that really serve you and also serves me. And so if you know that taking the next step in your charting and exploring what coaching might look like, to sign up for an upcoming webinar that gets you thinking about how you can change your experience in medicine by changing some of your thoughts about charting and getting some of those tools and equipping, I want you to sign up right now at mededwell.com/charting. I'm so thankful for each of you that's chosen to invest time with me, whether this is your first episode or the 74th. I'm so thankful for you showing up, for you showing up for yourself, for you showing up for your patients, and showing up for others around you as you invest in your wellness. If you haven't taken the moment to leave a review and you'd like to do that, I'd love to use that to help get the word out to others who need to hear this message that investing in wellness is important. You are important because each person matters. Your patients matter. You matter. Your friends matter. Your family matters. And I just want you to hear that, to hear that those thoughts, that people matter. Let that sink in. You matter. There are many stressful things in life, many challenges that we face. But by taking this time, you are saying, I want to grow. And that's a good thing. So thank you so much for being here with me. I'm so thankful for you, and I can't wait to start this new chapter in the podcast, doing seasons and themes to help you continue to grow and support your wellness. Thank you so much for joining me and for all that you do. Have a great day.